If you're an SCHD investor, the last 24 months may have felt like being the only sober person at a frat party. Tech investors are celebrating. The NASDAQ looks unstoppable. People are posting NVIDIA screenshots with rocket emojis and joking about Lamborghinis. Then you look at SCHD and it looks boring, flat-ish, maybe up a little, but next to the tech rally, it can feel like dead money. I've seen the comments, SCHD is a dog. Dividend investing is dead. Why not just buy QQQ and get rich? If you felt that jealousy or the urge to sell SCHD and chase the rally, pause, because the most dangerous signals in markets are often the most obvious ones. Expensive things look safe. Cheap things look broken. SCHD isn't broken. It's behaving exactly like a disciplined, rules-based quality dividend strategy behaves when the market is obsessed with one theme. And right now, the obsession is tech, especially AI. That obsession has created a valuation gap between growth and value that is historically extreme. Not because tech is fake, but because expectations have stretched. So in this video, I'll give you 4 reasons I'm buying more SCHD right now. The math of cheap valuation gaps, the engine under the hood, the rules, the shield, drawdowns and behavior, the wealth multiplier, the income snowball. Quick note, this is education, not personal financial advice. I'm sharing my reasoning so you can stress test it. Why is SCHD lagging? It's not because its companies stopped doing business. It's sector allocation. Tech-heavy indexes have become concentrated bets. When a handful of mega-cap tech names surge, QQQ looks like a genius. When they fall, the whole index bleeds. That's the trade-off you accept when one sector dominates leadership. SCHD is built differently. Its technology exposure is roughly 10% while it leans into energy, healthcare, and consumer defensive. So when the market decides tech is the only thing that matters, SCHD is mathematically likely to lag. That's not a bug, that's arithmetic. But long-term investing isn't about what happened last year. It's about what you pay for future cash flows. That's valuation. At the end of 2025, the NASDAQ 100 has commonly been quoted with a forward P/E ratio in the mid-20s, while trailing estimates often sit in the low 30s. Different sources disagree on the exact number, but the message is consistent. You're paying a premium. SCHD, depending on the snapshot, tends to sit in the mid-teens. Here's the simplest way to understand why that matters. Earnings yield. If you pay $30 for $1 of earnings, your earnings yield is about 3.3%. If you pay $15 for $1 of earnings, your earnings yield is about 6.7%. That doesn't mean you earn 6.7% automatically. Stocks are messy, but it's a clean proxy for how expensive the cash flow stream is. When you pay a high multiple, you're buying 2 things at once. The business, a very optimistic story about the future. That second part, the story, is what creates valuation risk. High valuations don't guarantee a crash tomorrow. Markets can stay irrational longer than you expect. But high valuations do one thing reliably. They make great future returns harder because you already paid for greatness up front. And if growth slows even slightly, high multiple stocks can get hit twice. First, earnings growth slows, then the multiple compresses. That second hit is the killer. The company can still be good, and the stock can still fall because the price you paid assumed perfection. On the other side, when you buy at a reasonable multiple, you don't need miracles. You just need the business to keep being the business. That's the margin of safety. Now, I'm not here to demonize tech. I own tech exposure. Everyone does, whether they realize it or not. Tech is embedded in the economy. AI is real, productivity gains are real, but there's a massive difference between tech will be important and any price is a good price. The market can be right about the future and still overpay in the present. That's the valuation gap story in one sentence. When expectations get too high, future returns get pulled forward. So when people say SCHD is underperforming, what they often mean is tech got more expensive faster. And when tech gets more expensive faster, disciplined value-tilted strategies look stupid right before the cycle changes. Maybe the cycle changes through a crash. Maybe it changes through years of sideways returns. Maybe it changes through value grinding higher while growth cools off. I don't need to predict which path we take. I just need to position for the probabilities. That's reason number 1 I'm buying. I'd rather buy Future cash flow at a reasonable price, then buy optimism at any price. Now the obvious counterpunch. Okay, cheap can be trash. Correct. A low P/E can be a bargain or a value trap. So the real question is, what quality controls exist inside SCHD? Answer, rules. SCHD tracks the Dow Jones US Dividend 100 Index. That means you're not relying on some manager's mood. You're relying on a process. First, it requires a long dividend track record, about a decade. No decade-long history of paying shareholders. You don't even qualify. That alone removes a huge amount of speculative noise. Then it ranks eligible companies using 4 fundamentals-based characteristics: free cash flow to total debt, return on equity, dividend yield, 5-year dividend growth rate. Let's slow down and make these real. Free cash flow to total debt is the can you survive test. It asks, do you generate enough real cash to cover your obligations? This matters because the market is full of companies that looked fine when rates were low. Debt was cheap, refinancing was easy. Now the bar is higher. Companies that can't produce cash get exposed. Return on equity is the are you competent test. It's not perfect, but it's a useful filter for management quality and business efficiency. Dividend yield is your paycheck today. Dividend growth is your paycheck tomorrow. Put it all together and you get a portfolio that's trying to balance income now and income growth later without loading up on fragile balance sheets. Also important, the index excludes REITs. Again, that's not saying REITs are bad. It's saying they behave differently. Their distributions are taxed differently. Their cash flows are rate sensitive. Excluding them keeps the strategy focused. Now here's what most people miss. SCHD is not just 100 dividend stocks. It's a portfolio with about 100 holdings, rebalanced by rules at an expense ratio around 0.06%. That last part matters. At 0.06%, the fund is not bleeding you with fees. Over decades, fees compound too, just in the wrong direction. But the feature that matters most for normal investors is the annual reconstitution. Each year, the index reruns the screens. If a company's fundamentals weaken, it can fall in ranking and get removed. If a strong company gets cheaper while fundamentals stay solid, it can rise in ranking and get added or increased. This creates an anti-emotion system. When humans chase winners, a rules-based process tends to trim what got expensive and recycle into what got cheaper. It's not magic, it's forced discipline. And forced discipline is the whole game. Because most people don't lose money because they chose the wrong fund. They lose money because they chose the right fund and sold it at the wrong time. Here's the promise I'm making right now. In the next section, I'm going to show you why this matters more than any debate about dividends versus growth. Because defense is what keeps you invested long enough to win. Let's talk about the part nobody wants to hear during a bull market: drawdowns. Retirement isn't won by your best year. It's won by your worst year, because that's when people panic sell. Look at 2022. Inflation spiked, rates rose, long duration assets got repriced. QQQ's total return for 2022 was down about 33%. That kind of drop doesn't just hurt performance, it breaks behavior. People sell near the bottom, then spend years trying to get back in. They miss the rebound, they miss the compounding, they miss the point. SCHD had a completely different experience. In 2022, its total return was only down a few percent. Not exciting, but it didn't collapse. Why? Because SCHD is tilted toward the real economy. As of late 2025, its biggest sector exposures have been energy, healthcare, and consumer defensive, each sitting around the high teens in weight. Tech is around 10%. That diversification across economic regimes is not a guarantee of profits. It's a reduction of single-story risk. And single-story risk is exactly what hurts people. When your entire portfolio is one story, AI, software, cloud, whatever, your confidence becomes fragile. Every headline feels existential. Every earnings miss feels like the end of the world. When you own boring cash flow businesses, the story is simpler. People buy essentials. People need healthcare. The world uses energy. Industrials keep building. It's not sexy, but it's resilient. And resilience has a compounding effect too, because it reduces the odds you make the one mistake that can permanently damage your wealth: selling low. So here's the honest takeaway. If you have the stomach to hold QQQ through a 30% drawdown without flinching, good. That's a real skill. Most people don't have that skill. They think they do until they get tested. SCHD helps you pass the test. That's reason number 3 I'm buying. I'm not trying to impress strangers on the internet. I'm trying to build something I can actually hold. Now let's talk about what price charts hide. Income. People call SCHD flat and miss the compounding happening underneath through dividends and reinvestment. Historically, if you invested $100,000 into SCHD at inception in October 2011 and reinvested dividends by late 2025, you'd be around $521,000, about a 5.2 times multiplier. That's not a promise. That's history. But it proves a point. A boring fund can compound aggressively when you combine price returns and reinvested income. Now let's bring it back to real life. Most people build with contributions. They invest from paychecks. Here's what changes everything. The moment dividends stop being extra and start being material. At a dividend above 3.5%, which has been a common range for SCHD in late 2025, every $100,000 can produce roughly $3,700 to $3,900 per year in dividends. Scale that up and the snowball starts rolling. The part that feels counterintuitive is this. If you're still accumulating, you should not worship the price chart. When the price goes sideways, the yield tends to rise, and every new dollar buys more income. That's why I don't panic when SCHD underperforms in a momentum market. I view it like a sale on future cash flow. Dividends buy shares. Shares create more dividends, and eventually the dividends start doing more work than you do. That's also why yield on cost matters. If you buy when the yield is higher, you lock in more income per dollar invested. Then if the dividend grows over time, your yield on cost climbs, even if market prices are choppy. Now let's be fair. Dividends are not magic. A dividend is not free money. It's a distribution of cash from the business. If the business declines, the dividend can stagnate or get cut. No fund is immune to that. So what makes SCHD interesting is not just it pays dividends. It's the combination of a quality screen, a reasonable valuation profile, diversification across real economy sectors, and a rules-based discipline that keeps you from chasing whatever's hottest. That combination is how you build a portfolio that can survive your emotions. So why am I buying more SCHD while everyone is chasing tech? Valuation. I'd rather pay a reasonable price for cash flows than pay up for perfection. Methodology. SCHD follows a rules-based quality screen, not a hype cycle. Defense. In ugly years like 2022, tech-heavy portfolios can drop by about 1/3. SCHD was down only a few percent. That protects both your money and your behavior. Compounding. Sideways price action can accelerate share accumulation and future income. In the short run, the market is a voting machine. In the long run, it's a weighing machine. Right now, the market is voting for AI. Eventually it weighs earnings and cash flow. If you're holding SCHD, your job isn't to feel smart every month. Your job is to keep accumulating, reinvesting, and letting time do what it always does. If you want more no-hype, math-driven investing breakdowns like this, subscribe. And if you want to see how I balance dividend growth, like SCHD, with a little offensive upside, watch the next video on your screen. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.